All right, guys, I do apologize. I actually did just go live on a another live stream, but I unfortunately kicked out my video. Um, so hopefully those who were there will make their way over here. I do apologize for that. YouTube is unfortunately, for whatever reason, one of those platforms that they actually, when your audio gets disconnected, you cannot reconnect it sometimes, and so I'm sorry about that. But here we are. We're back. I'm not going to leave you all high and dry, leave you all blue brained, as the kids say. Uh, um, but yeah, so lots of cool stuff. I'll sort of summarize our last 5 minutes of the first video. I'm working on shit. I'm getting shit done. Uh, Eric and I are partnered up on a pretty cool project that we'll announce in the near future. Something I think we'll have out by February. I think that's a very good idea, and I think it's something that's going to be quite popular. At least I hope so. So that's something that's exciting. We are working on season 2 of Self Taught or Not, trying to tie down some sponsors. Have a couple cool episodes. I think we're going to incorporate a couple interviews. I'll be in the Salt Lake area visiting Ricky Garcia, who, if you don't know, is another fellow YouTuber and someone I'm a friend with. I'm actually going to interview him for the channel. Dylan, I'm a front-end dev with experience in JavaScript and stuff. Stuff is good. It seems like every job wants .NET or Java. Do you experience that? So hard to find a job. It's definitely more prevalent in certain areas than others, but I also think that it's probably just a little bit of bias. I mean, if you were a .NET dev, I have no doubt that you would say every job wants Java or JavaScript. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those items where some of it really does. It's a little. It's just a little bit of was it like survivor's bias? There's some sort of term for it, but you have to understand that there's so many stacks out there, and JavaScript's definitely one of the larger stacks that you're just not going to fit for everything, though. You know, the alternative, Stack Overflow, I found CodeWrench to be a bit more accommodating. Nowadays, I don't really use Stack Overflow. It's kind of, I mean, let me put it this way: I do use Stack Overflow, but not nearly as much. So, like, pretty much everything I do, I know how to do nowadays, which is kind of why I'm getting bored of the front end. So after, luckily, I'm in a position at work where I can do more back end, more full stack if I want to, and so that's something that I'll be looking to do in the next 3 months or so. Some ads are very vague. Fun, fast-paced environment, dog-friendly. Others ask for the world, 5 years experience, 20 years of study for a junior role. Yeah, both have their advantages. Really, it's going to depend on your manager and like the organization as a whole. You could be at a great company, but with a shitty manager, it's going to be a shitty experience. Really, all comes down to who you're going to be working directly with and what that looks like. I don't pay much attention to job roles. Generally speaking, I apply to something I'm about 50% qualified for. But when I interview, I'm interviewing them as much as they are interviewing me. If I'm about 50% qualified, because here's the thing: if you could list all these things, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a JavaScript dev? I'm a JavaScript dev. Right? Like, I can do JavaScript. I can do whatever stupid framework you're working in, whatever it is, because cool. I'm your guy, right? And so if I meet the core part of it, forget everything else. I typically will apply. No, when I'm interviewing, I filter out so like here's the thing: is like once you get into higher salaries, you typically end up at better companies. At least that's been my experience. So as I've been paid slightly above market rate, the companies that I've associated with have been significantly better companies. They have appreciated having developers on staff much more. They want to um, keep developers around because it's a hard thing to do. Um, so they're gonna have better benefits, and they're not looking to have you do 12 roles, right? So like typically when you get started at smaller companies with lower salaries, you're going to do 12 different roles. And that sounds nice and there's some benefit to it, but you never really get very good at any of them. Um so I mean, put it this way. I've been doing front end development for roughly 3 years. I'm just getting tired of it. Like it's at a point where now we are getting to a proficiency level where it's no longer a challenge, period, and it's time to move on. The challenge is more just in requirements and working with people a lot of times. Hey Dylan, I'm going to be 35 and done with a basic software engineering bachelor's. Will you hire me? I will hire anyone who has skills, but if all you're bringing to the table is a bachelor's, chances are you're probably not even going to get an interview. What headset is this? I don't remember. A buddy of mine recommended it. It's this brand. I don't know if you found that helpful. um, where would you suggest I get some good design files to turn them into full stack web applications? I'm not sure what you mean by design files. Like where you get templates? I don't. I had a recruiter tell me yesterday they likes my stuff and wants to put me through, but doesn't want me to leave the company in 2 years. I didn't know what to say. This is what I would say. Whatever you have to get the job. If it's your first job, you just say, "Look, I'm looking to work." I mean, this is the honest answer that you would give: is I'm looking to work my way up in an organization and grow. So I'm really excited about the opportunity. That's about as detailed as you can get. I'm still stuck on whether I want to be front or full stack dev. Usually, what's going to happen is you're just going to be a dev. Shout out to our boy Sean Carter. Sean Carter, excuse me. Um, Been making videos for a week now. Good on you though, man. Getting out there doing your thing. Oh, you're talking about like InVision type files? I found out earlier it's really hard to do just front end. Yeah, but that doesn't. So like I can go and build a back end of anything. Will I do it perfectly? I'll do it all right. It'll work. But yeah, you should have an understanding of how it's gonna work, and you're gonna want to. You're gonna want to grow. Yeah, so if you're looking to do things like InVision, so typically what I use is Balsamic, or I'll do like low resolution mockups, and then I'll work with a designer. I've even gone on Fiverr and paid someone $5-10 to take my mockups and build it into something that's sort of pretty. So should I aim for original projects besides the bachelor's? Yes, and technologies and in the area that are people are being hired in. I saw something earlier about a video game union trying to get going. We'll see how that works. I think it was in California only. I actually left a comment on a community post earlier on one of my favorite YouTubers, who is Louis Rossman. If you don't know who Louis Rossman is, um, he's got about 1 million subscribers. I've been watching him on and off since he was about like, God, maybe like 200. I feel like he's blown up in the last year, because I haven't been watching him that long, maybe a year. But I really enjoy, and he does, anyhow. So he does board repairs. He basically does hardware repairs for PCs in New York. But I have no interest in doing that. But I watch his. He does a lot of topic oriented videos, and he's a guy about who I consider to have high morals and standards, and sort of practices what he preaches. And so I'm hoping to try and get him on the podcast to talk about morality in the tech industry. So I don't know that it's going to happen. It probably won't. But if I harass enough, maybe I'll get lucky. But I'd love to just talk to Lewis for about 30 minutes and get him to rant in a podcast with Eric and I. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to get him on here eventually. Uh, been watching his real estate series lately. Oh man. Yeah. But more so, anyhow. So I really do. He does seem to stick by his guns with what he believes, which is something I respect. Whether it costs him money or not, which is not an easy thing to do. There's things that I do because it costs me money, even though they're businesses that makes me money, even though they're businesses I don't necessarily want to support long term. Um, so maybe that says something about me. To be honest with you, um, nothing like firing your contractor on account, dude. I couldn't even watch that. I saw that title. I knew it was coming based off his previous video. Um, but I was just like, dude, I can't watch this. It's too. Like, cringy's not the right word, but uncomfortable. It's too uncomfortable. Yeah, and that's something that I respect. I respect people who are very moral, and their actions say it. Just don't. Their actions say it. They don't say it. If that makes sense. Growth is still motivating. I'm glad to hear that, Brandon. Yeah, I'm gonna stand up. I'm getting a little tired. Ugh. I've been working every day after work, just a little bit on projects. I had another phone call with LinkedIn Learning. So I've mentioned a couple times that I'll be doing a course with them. Uh, I gotta send them a little homework video, um, and some code, a sort of example video. I've already done something similar. No, I did an audition video, but this is actually going to be a video from the course, and I'll be flying out in March to late March to actually do the course and film it. They they showed me the one of the box. So they showed me like the studio rooms, and they're these like industrial looking boxes with like an air conditioning too. First thing I thought, I didn't say this, but first thing I thought was like, dude, do they grow weed in there? That's what is going on with the tube. But it's AC. I was like, oh, they got one of those big old like silver tubes. Like, I was like, I don't know, man. They're in California. What's going on? But no, very professional box. Producer box, recorder box, looking at you while you're doing it. But it'll be a fun experience. We'll see what happens. What paradigm do you tend to lean towards, object oriented or functional? They don't have to be exclusive. So Angular naturally lends itself to an object oriented approach, but that doesn't mean that you can't utilize functional programming in that. Getting sick and having to work is really, listen, there's very few things that are better than paid time off and sick days and actually being able to collect a check when you need that time off. Get up here, baby girl. Get up here, my baby girl. Oh, baby boy. Get up here, Gator. No, she's like, nope. Oh, Joe puppies. Big boy, come here. Ah. When is the Angular course coming out? I've been sidetracked on other projects. I actually, I might be having a course on Scrimba coming out, Angular related, a free one, and these two other projects that I'm working on are pretty cool and exciting, and lots of cool stuff, man. So part of the problem with being like, what you got in your ear? So dirty, dog. Part of the problem with being me is that like I jump between multiple side projects at a time. What's the determining factor in whether you use Angular or React? The area that's hiring. So like typically I would say there's more, like in your use case, definitely. Typically what I would say is that there's more React openings than Angular. Angular's more of a big corporate companies like Angular, which is great, pays a little bit better. That doesn't mean that I don't. So typically I'd say React's definitely gaining popularity. Oh. Yeah, they're good looking dogs. It's so funny. They're like, "What is your?" I've had several people. So he's also an Australian Shepherd. He's a black tri, but he doesn't really have any white, so he kind of looks like a fluffy Rottweiler. And I've had people as we're walking by, "Why is your Rottweiler so fluffy?" It's like, no, he's not that fluffy. He's not a Rottweiler. He's Australian Shepherd. Do I still do paid hourly mentorship? Yes. So those of you who don't know, I do hourly mentoring. I'm very big on mentoring, which is why I do one of these every week to try and provide mentoring at a group stage for free, right? But I do paid. So if you want to dive deep into your personal situation, it's $150 an hour. So something to consider. Shoot me an email. But yeah, so some of the cool projects I have. So the podcast, a web app Eric and I are working on, and a GitHub repo that I'm working on. So what would you say that React is used in most cases? React Angular, you're getting video bombed? What does that even mean? I'm not hip with what video bomb means. So React and Angular, Vue, they all serve the same use case in my opinion. The dogs are upstaging you. Yeah, of course. I paid good money. These are purebreds. Aren't you? You gotta upstage me. Daddy paid good money for you. Get up here, big boy. Gator. Oh, baby girl. Oh, it's your baby. Oh, it's your... Hitting me in the face. Oh, come here. Come here. Get up here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. So, this is Boise. She's about maybe 40 to 45 pounds. I haven't weighed her in a while. She's still growing. here I was seeing some significant difference. No, implementation is just different, but generally speaking, you'll build the same things, just in slightly different ways. So like you can see, they're both the same dog and the same type of dog within the breed, but she got some white. Gator didn't get any white. He's got a little white on his butt. that's about it. Um, I'm looking into getting Australian. It's just funny, is I almost made a video about Australian Shepherds, just a one-off video. So what I would recommend is, one, you have a house. They're very active dogs. As a matter of fact, one of the things I read when I was looking into getting dogs, and I grew up with Australian Shepherds, so I've had one Australian Shepherd as a kid. I should say I grew up. I had one Australian Shepherd as a kid, and now I have two as an adult. But they're fantastic dogs. Like they're not aggressive, but they will bark at like intruders, and they will, like, we've had a roommate for 6 months. Every time she comes in, they bark, and they bark, run up to get attention. But they just sort of, they're defensive. They're more like alert dogs than guard dogs, if that makes sense. You can see like they've been in here sort of playing, but they haven't made any noise, right? So they're not loud dogs. So the other thing is that they're very high energy, so much so that they oftentimes recommend that you have a yard or a backyard. Like, they're not apartment dogs. I wouldn't get him. And Gator's on the big end. He's about 70 pounds, but typically a male's going to be about 55 and a female's going to be around 40. So 40 to 50. So they're sort of on the large end of medium. And they're, part of the reason we got a second dog so early is it was very clear that we couldn't play with our dog enough, and he was getting depressed. Like, truly was, we could tell that our puppy was getting depressed and bored because we, between work and projects and everything like that, we just didn't have enough time to I didn't have enough time to run them 24/7, because that's not the lifestyle I'm trying to have. And we fenced in. I spent $5,000 fencing in my backyard just so that they could go outside and run without us. The other thing I would say is they run very hot. So if you're in a hot area like ours is in Florida, you're going to want to run the AC at night, and you even want to have a fan on top of their crate. So on top of the crate where they sleep, we have a fan on each blowing down to keep them cool, because they have a lot of fur. But you should be aware of that. So when it comes to that specific type of dog also, so like, oh, well, I have a dog. Well, they are so high energy. They're high energy as far as dogs go. So they annoy other dogs. So like, they typically recommend that if you have an Australian Shepherd, you need a very similar dog demeanor wise, if not the same type of dog, because they're going to play for hours, and maybe like your average dog will play for an hour. And so like, oh yeah, it's fun. But what ends up happening sometimes is that the other dog just annoys the shit out of the the Australian Shepherd annoys the shit out of the other dog, and then they'd hate each other. So, but as far as dogs go, man, they're smart. They're great. She's been a little bit hard to potty train, because I think she's a little bit more in the neurotic aspect. He had, I think, one accident the entire time we've had him. But I love, as dogs, I love them, man. They're great with cats. Like, my cat just walked in right now. The cats interact with them a little bit. The cats mainly act annoyed that there's dogs in the house, but they're good. They don't try to kill them. But I think it's more up to us, right? So we have 3 cats also. You can see she's kind of circling. They're sort of protective as well. So if that's something you're looking for, by Tito. But yeah, it's fantastic. As of now, it's GraphQL expected from backend and full stack devs. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Here's the thing: if you need GraphQL, just go build a single project in GraphQL. So, and like you could see, like right now it's 7 o'clock. They're doing this from like 9. So like usually they're going from like 9 a.m. to about 11, and then they take a like hour or two lunch nap, and then they go for like 6 hours. It's honestly one of the best parts about working remote is I just have my dogs and cats. Like the dogs are usually just posted up on here, out looking out the window or at my feet. It's just a it's a nice feeling. Hey baby girl. Up. Oh, oh, you jumping, huh? Get her up. Up. Oh. Yeah, I wouldn't get any other dogs. I thought about getting a pug, but it's not really what we want. I like pugs, but they're not. I mean, we got dogs to get dogs, not to get cat dogs. You know what I mean? They're good dogs, though, man. GraphQL has definitely grown in popularity, and it's something I could see. But all GraphQL is a way to write a query from the front end to get the data in the back end to create less routes. Hey, Boise, stop chewing on his ear. Your very own WWE, yeah. Dude. Have I ever thought about doing portfolio reviews? Yeah, I mean, I could. I don't mind, and typically I do it when I do my mentoring. So there's like 4 main things I like to cover every single time with the first mentoring sessions. And sometimes people do continual ones, and we drive deeper. But I always try to cover the resume. I always try to cover the LinkedIn. I always try to cover the cover letter, and I always try to cover the portfolio. And what else was there? Just resume, cover letter. Oh, and GitHub, things like that. So those are always things I try to cover. Now, with that being said, have you guys ever seen my portfolio? I don't really have one. I don't. Matter of fact, people ask for my portfolio. I said, Google me. So I was talking with some. I was talking with some consulting companies that about picking up some part-time work with them potentially, and they asked if I had a portfolio. I told them Google me. This was, I was like, just Google me. It'll come up. You'll find everything you need to know about me. On the first 2 or 3 pages will all be coding Dylan related. Let me know if you have any questions. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a technical portfolio like most people. I mean, I have projects and stuff like that, but I don't have my portfolio page. Sup, DS123? Search term coding god, yeah. Oh man. I've been working out every day, doing some pre-workout. See the guns, baby, they're coming. Can't see them, but they're there. Every day, muting my phone calls. What I'm really trying, I don't even care about all this, what I'm trying to get rid of, and it's diminished a little bit. I'm trying to get rid of this gut a little bit. This gut was, here, let me see if I, this is what needs to go. I'm not having that. Hey, stinker. A murder already got top spot. Weird. I searched coding god on. Is that really, dude? That would be even better. It's like, hey, don't instead of searching Dylan Israel, search coding god. No, see, that doesn't work. Oh man. Yeah. So much to do, so little time. Let's hope they don't stumble across Dylan, the Wix developer. You know what, man? You gotta take the good with the funny. All right. Oh shit. Did I so one of my buddies works with me. I just hopped on Facebook real quick to check a message. And I was like, "Where is my buddy, man? Like where he's been working." So I got him a job in my work, and he's been gone like the last 3 days. And I was like, "Dude, did this guy really dip before I got my referral money?" And is it gonna make me look like a chump? No, he's at the Consumer Electronics Show, and I just saw a photo on Facebook. I was like, dude, I wonder what happened to him. Um, yeah, so he's having fun. I was like, all right, that's good to know. I'm a, my boy's kind of a wild card, but I didn't think he's that much of a wild card. Yeah, keeping up exercise health is number one. It's one of my goals, man. Every day I'm out here. They're not that heavy. They're what are these 20 pounds? So these are 20 pounds. I'm doing a little. I'm probably doing about 100 curls a day, in about 20 or 30 increments. Not too much. I've been doing push-ups, pull-ups, ab crunches. So nothing too crazy. I take a little bit of pre-workout. One of our coders blagged his way into a model agency Christmas party. What does that mean? Blogged? He talked his way in as a rep of the agency. Oh, all right. Do I use Webpack in the background? I don't like go out of my way to use it. I mean, pretty much all those tools that you use on a regular basis are built using the CLI of whatever framework you're using, and then you just configure them. So, um, and so sometimes people say like, should you study and spend the time to go and pick that stuff up in detail? And the answer is no. Like those are you have to have a healthy understanding of what's worth your time to learn and what's worth your time just to have a basic bare bones understanding of. And that is one of those items that it's to have a basic bare bones understanding. You go, okay, I know what Webpack does, what it's, you know, what that entails, and then all right, what is it going to do for me? All right, what am I looking to do with it? So not to say that it's a bad thing. It's actually a very powerful tool. I'm pretty big up on the Webpack, but yeah. And that's the thing is it's just all CLA stuff. Um Kind of want to order a pizza, but April would kind of get upset if I go and get a pizza. Should we piss April off and go get a pizza? I'm kind of hungry. I'm trying. So basically, I'm going out of town for 2 weeks, and um, all the food in the house. We did food shopping, but it's all food that like April only would eat, and so it's not stuff that I'll like make or mess around with too much. Um, so it's not stuff that I really want to eat, and so I've been eating the same shit every day. All the joys of living by. So hey man, there's some truth to that. Don't. Let's see here. There's definitely some truth to that. Where should I host a Node API? Get wings. You just do Heroku if you want. It's pretty straightforward. Make one at home. What can she say? Listen, man. She say whatever she wants to say. That's how it was. She's upset with me lately. Um, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but she's upset with me. So I'm trying to take more trips out of town so she appreciates me more. I figured it out. So when I went out of town for 10 days to Kansas City 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, when I came back, she really appreciated seeing me. So I have this trip where I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. Then I'm going away for about a week and a half to go to to go to California to film the LinkedIn video, and then I'm going to take a little bit extended time to go snowboarding with my dad, and then I come back, and then I'm going to figure out another trip 6 weeks later. Basically, I'm going to be gone 2 weeks every 2 months. That's my game plan. um, like, till she appreciates this hotness and what she's got going on here. Um, I don't know. I'm being silly. What do I use to host websites? I just use GoDaddy, not for any particular reason, other than I've been using it for a decade. That's that's pretty much it. At one point, I used GoDaddy, and I've just been using GoDaddy ever since. That's basically it. Um, how's her boot camp going? Good, good. She started applying for jobs this week. She has about 5 more months. Um, where am I working? I don't typically like to talk about where I'm working, not because I have anything nasty to say about my workplace, but at the end of the day, I'm somewhat a representative, and it makes it even more so when I am talking about my workplace. But if you really wanted to know, you could find out on LinkedIn, I imagine. Um, but It's going good, man. She's really enjoying it, and I know it's going good because she doesn't ask for my help nearly as much as she ever did. Like right when we got started, it was like if we weren't already dating, I feel like the amount of help you're asking for, we need to be dating. Like this is not a friend amount of help. But now it's never. It's like once every few days I get a question or something. So she's really figured out that she needs to be the one debugging and stuff like that. All right, guys. With that being said, I'm going to call it a little bit short. I appreciate y'all. If you're interested in any of my courses, there are links in the description below. I'll next time you see me live, I'll be in the Salt Lake area and might have my boy Ricky on the stream with me, which will be a lot of fun. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.